First time we'll see on-car action in 2020. On track, not on-car, on track. I don't know how this is gonna go. I don't know if I'm gonna get banned from YouTube streaming again. I wouldn't doubt it. I wouldn't doubt it. It's a chance we have to take. But yeah. We'll find out though. We'll find out. I got my YouTube whatchamacallit out. Oh, that's cool. Current audio bitrate 0. Well, that's fantastic. Oh, we're gonna play the lag game, aren't we? That's cool. Let's see how this looks first off. And we gonna go into my settings real quick, and then hotkeys. Okay, and then boom, boom. So. Yeah. Yeah, we're good. We're good. Oh, it's gonna lag. Oh, that's dope. That's dope. It's dope. It's gonna be non-stop talking about Hailie Deegan today, I feel like. It's gonna be nothing but Hailie Deegan this, Hailie Deegan that, Hailie Deegan everything, because Hailie Deegan, you know. But, you know, it's gonna probably be the most popular driver in the series. It's literally gonna just be Hailie Deegan. What's she gonna do today? Probably find herself in a wreck or two. I'm gonna just be honest. It's her first race here at Daytona. I mean, practice is practice. You ain't gonna be like, woo. But yeah. How do I... We're just going to settings real quick. There's gotta be a way I can hotkey to like full cam during commercial. Switch to scene. And then... Done. Okay. Alright. Alright, we got this. Getting some hotkeys figured out. We'll turn that off for now. We'll wait till the race comes back on and turn that back on. I think we're going to be on a slight delay because I'll lag a little bit here with my, whatnot. I need to make sure I get the correct sound buttons. Probably should write all this shit down so that I don't forget about it, but it's fine. It's fine. Comment in the comment section who you think is going to win today. I expect to see a lot of Hailie Deegan names because she was fastest in the first practice yesterday. So comment in that comment section. Yeah. Yeah. Do Daytona. I like to point out the fact that he took the 25 car and won the championship the year after Natalie Decker made it all like a hoopla because she won the pole for this race 2 years ago. we're gonna go back to a commercial, aren't we? I think I can find the starting order on Twitter. We'll go Twitter. Talk about the top 3 here. I just want to know who's starting on the poll for the Arkham Dart. Oh, I can probably just click on Arkham Dart series Twitter page. And entrance fired. Alright, I know stuff's on the poll. We can go ahead and put that. I think that's how you spell his name. I could be wrong. Put it on the... Yes, I just want to know who's in the top 3 to start with. And I did spell it correct. And then white. That's... Oh. That's gonna be interesting. There we go. It's gonna be interesting. I might have to change some keybinds real quick. That's gonna be 1, 2, 4, 5. 7, 8. Boom. Alright. But when that top 3 is going to be updated every like 5-10 laps because it's Daytona. It's going to change the whole goddamn time. It's not going to be accurate at all. So, yeah. Should be fine. 30 cars so far. There's 33 cars in this race. That's interesting. I don't remember how many there were last year. I'm gonna make sure I get this right.
We talked about Gus Dean. This is a Journal of Tire on. Gus is a former winner here. Ran full time on the truck series last year. Top 15 in points. Going to run limited ARC race this year as well as the truck race next week here at Daytona. This is Jacob Hafner, our Ford Performance onboard camera, making his ARC.
Real quick, who do you guys think are gonna win this race?
At Hickory Speedway. That place has spawned some pretty big names in NASCAR. Certainly has. That's a powerhouse recycling Ford. And we're also going to rock with Drew Dollar. He's making his Super Speedway debut as well for the Toyota or Venturini Motorsports. He qualified in the 5th position. Great round for Drew Dollar. And finally, there is Michael Self, who called losing last year's championship on the last day in Kansas a heartbreak. JB talked about a lot of soul searching, but he is back, and he was plenty happy when that General Tire Pole Award was finally handed out. Big hugs all the way around for Michael Self. Well, that is Haley Deegan as she makes her way around the racetrack. We've got onboard radio with her. Phil
So I don't want to count the number of times Haley Dean. You're gonna win. Yeah, you're gonna totally win. You're gonna go ahead and find your way to Daytona real quick, get in the car and win.
There's a little bit of static. We certainly want to wish you well. I know this has been a tremendous learning experience for you. You've had the speed. You have a great car and a great team behind you. What do you think about today? Good deal. Good luck. Let's go down to pit road, Jamie.
Dave, you mentioned Thad Moffitt and that number 46 starting at the back.
Alright. Good choices, good choices.
The DJR Crossley team walked the garage. They did
I think Self's gonna win. He was a defending champion.
the field, but the goal is being at the front. So that says he's going to have to be conservative in making those
That zero
passes.
card
He needs to stay
looks
clean.
hilarious.
The race is long enough. He just has to be patient, Katie. Thad starting at the back not only affects Thad, it also affects his DJR Crossley teammates, the number 17 of Tanner Gray and the number 4 of Haley Deegan. The strategy coming into the race was the three of them were going to work together to make moves to the front. It'll now be up to Haley and Tanner to make it happen together. Tanner says he knows Haley's car is quick up front, but also knows it could be harder for those two to communicate as they are both new to Daytona and super speedway. Plus, their previous experience is in different styles of racing, Dave.
Thank you very much, Katie. Privileged now to have a very special guest join us, Ryan Blaney. 5 ARCA starts. More importantly, a lot of Monster Cup wins there for you. Welcome to the booth here. Welcome to the Lucas Oil 200.
Well, I appreciate you having me up here. It's just nice to be down in Daytona. It's great to get the season started here with the ARC Menard series. So I'm looking forward to a good race. There's a lot of good cars.
Whoever isn't sitting in the front row.
I'll be interested to see how they do in their first starts.
That's going to make the start of Section 1 interesting. We got a lot of guys that are in the front of this pack that are going to have 33 drivers screaming behind them. And girls. And girls. That's a really interesting race. Absolutely. So you made 5 ARCA starts. Checking my notes, you were a very, very good ARCA racer, just not able to.
I was 0 for 5.
Top 5 virtually every time.
Yeah, we had a bunch of strong starts. I ran a few races for Venturini back in 2011. Was able to run for Cunningham Motorsports back, I think 2013. I ran for them. Had a lot of fun. Ran road courses, ran mile-and-a-half racetracks, a lot of places I've never been before, and that was kind of just getting me set up and just more experience back then. And I think we should have won about 4 out of 5.
I remember
we found a way to
dominating those races in the Cunningham car.
Yeah, we found a way to make sure we didn't win, but you know, you learn from those and you just keep going and figure
Ryan Blaney finds a way nowadays not to win, so it's fine. He hasn't learned yet.
Phil, to talk a little bit about the Bounty Rookie Spotlight. There are 13 rookies in this race, but we've kind of pared it down to those that we think are going to be ones to keep your eye on throughout 2020. Yeah, without Haley Deegan, she is going to be a championship contender.
We're not even completed lap 1. They've talked more about Haley Deegan than any other driver.
Another one of the strong cars out of Venturini Motorsports, as well as Ryan Repko. They're always good. Dominique Van Wieringen, she was the fastest car in practice down here in off-season testing. Scott Reeves making another start here, and Jason Kitzmiller making his first ever start here in the ARCA Menard Series. Ryan, race
Here we are live. That's good. That's good.
That's really great. You know, I mean, he won Knoxville.
Or
Michael Self with a great start. Leads them in to turn number one. Behind him, though, lots of shuffling, getting ready to go on as they get these cars up to speed. Takes them a little time.
I talk to so many drivers and they say, hey, we just want to stay clean. Just learn, stay in the track. So many, as Ryan mentioned, so many young drivers making their first ever Daytona start. They did some testing, they did some drafting and testing, but it wasn't a 30-car pack like it is.
Oh, hold on.
That's Andy
oof.
Cephas.
Oh, it's gonna come back across the track.
He did a heck of a go now.
Oh, I think Michael Self for a 2-time winner.
Done yet. That's Scott Reeves, the blue and white.
All right, all right, all right.
Eric Connell
We
in
barely get a lap in the wreck.
seven. You see Andy Cephas
Oh, welcome to ARCA.
on the racetrack. I don't think anybody hit him. He went slid all the way back across the racetrack through the pack. You see the damage on the front of that's, I think, from going back up the racetrack from the apron onto the racetrack.
I think you're right.
Yeah, he did. He did a great job saving the best he could. But when he backed up onto the banking, it pushed that whole nose up, and that's going to be a big, big repair they're going to make.
Huh.
Remember, he started second in this race. Had a qualifying effort.
Tremendous disappointment. Manor made his Cup debut last year, finished 28th. That, of course, is the Florida runner from nearby Royal Palm Beach, Florida here, Scott Reeves.
So I think what the best I can tell is Andy thought he was clear. Trying to duck in a hole, you can see some shadow in the opening. He just wasn't clear by, I mean, that was probably 6 inches, and it just hooked him. His spotter's probably
Daytona in the ARC series. Where are these idiots? Oof.
About 2 3/4 of a car like that was David.
That is some damage to that right front of that driver.
Didn't quite have enough room here, and it's hard to see for those spotters all the way from on top of the grandstand.
And Natalie Decker almost got in, and we could.
It is, you know, they're actually looking through binoculars.
Dave Mayer the third almost starts in third.
Trying to get the best view they could.
Oh, I get you now. I get you. I get you. I get you.
He was clear, but he made the move a little late, and that just
Being the third, almost started in third. I got you.
speed was so much, his hole's close up. So
Can we get
quick
the
here.
counter on the screen so I can go ahead and update the top 3 because Steve's wrecked?
Action, the 8 along with the 7 get together.
No?
That
Oh,
brings us to
that's
our
fine.
first caution. Cleanup underway here.
Oh, there it is. Meter and dollar.
We're back racing here. The Lucas Oil 200, presented by General Tire.
Made 10 laps. Watch him wreck. Not made 10. Made a lap. Not even half. I don't know what I'm saying. He made a half a lap. And then he wrecked. Think about that. Half a lap. Spotter didn't say you're clear and you went ahead and just cleared yourself. That's cool. That's totally fine. Which, I mean, no one's telling you can't do that. I'll go ahead and add that. I went ahead and with what was off of TV. I'll go ahead and add that. Make sure people is corrected. Names are represented correctly. Oh, no problem. I had nothing better to do. So I thought, why not? I'm not gonna do like the same exact thing with the race coverage for I may stream tomorrow for the Clash. I may not do the same exact thing where the race is up there because that'll get copyrighted. I experienced that last year with Accident. I didn't know it was streaming. And, yeah. But hey, you gotta learn from your mistakes. So, we learned. Couldn't stream for 10 months on YouTube. It's fine. It's fine. But, yeah, I'm planning on doing like these watch parties. Things with every single race I can this year. Tomorrow, Thursday are the 2 upcoming ones. The Clash and then the Duels. Duels are going to be more interesting. Duels will be including, instead of top 3, will be including the drivers who have to race their way in the current like position they're in. So, yeah.
See what your car will do, make big moves, and then the 500 practices is really just single car. You really just want to see what kind of speeds in your car, trying to get your travels just right for qualifying tomorrow. And then when we come in next week and then practice our 500 cars more, you do a little bit more race runs just to try to see how it drafts and things like that. So, but I'm excited for the Clash tomorrow. That's such a cool event to start off the weekend for us. And it's just nice, honestly, to get back in the car today. You know, it was great to have a few practice sessions, especially with our new team that we have over at Penske. Everyone's new. Yeah, so it's great to get to work with those guys.
Of course, your father, a USAC Silver Crown champion, won the World of Outlaw Championship as well, and the Knoxville Nationals. We just saw the incident with Andy Seiss waiting to get back up to racing after that. David Gravel was in a very tough position right there as a rookie coming off of turn 2 for the first time ever, but he did a very good job.
He did a good job. You know, that's you can't really blame David for that. You know, he's just riding there on the bottom, and there was a little gap, and yeah, like I said before, that's just a situation where people thought they were clear and they weren't, and you just get hooked sometimes.
Now you take a look at the 17 car of Tanner Gray being scored in 28th right now. Katie Osborne, you have more on what's going on with that team?
Yeah, the 17, the rookie here, Tanner Gray. He came in with the needing to be replacing the radio and actually just got a tap off. He gave up a position as he started in 11th. Meanwhile, the 02 of Andy Seiss, who came in the second place qualifying car, not the way he wanted to start. He was here. It was Herb saying that let's get out and get it right away. We have to make this perfect. Need to work on getting the valence down, 4 tires and fuels. But he was told we can now go further than everyone. Jamie? Van Moffat in the number 46 was already at the back, so that team made
I mean, they've only completed a half a lap underneath green. It's going to be a true testament of what she can do here, especially at these bigger tracks. I mean, she showed in practice that she had speed. She was able to draft. Time will tell, of course, over the race. I mean, Natalie Decker, I hate to do this comparison. Natalie Decker 2 years ago qualified on the pole, and she finished like in the top 10. Like, you can't compare. You can't just be like right away. I like to see a little bit more into the race and whatnot. So, but yeah, great job so far. In 4th place, started 7th.
And among the many changes that ARCA has made now, being underneath the NASCAR umbrella, changed the point scheme a little bit, and that includes with the General Tire Super Speedway Challenge. Used to be a couple of double point events. We're just going to simplify it and make it that much easier to understand.
Yeah, just more along the line of the 3 National Touring Series, so the point system was a little simpler to follow.
Well, as we take a look at the field, beginning to enter turn number 3, looks like we're getting pretty close to racing as the lights are off. So we are going to come to green here, try to complete lap number 4. See if we can go 76 without any more incidents. Michael Self looks to be very...
Go 76 without any more incidents. That's funny.
You can be that way when you're out in front. None of that stuff that's happening that we just saw.
Well, it was awfully close to the front. I mean, Andy Seiss qualified second, and David Gravel was running up in the top 10, and Andy tried to get that hole right in front of David, and it just wasn't there.
Well, Michael Self says one of the keys to racing here at Daytona is you gotta be in the right place.
Yeah. Andy Seiss tried to clear himself on the back straightaway of lap number 1 and spun through the grass, came back up the track.
See how he handles this restart here.
So this is big. So it's all about your help behind you on these restarts. Actually see Haley Diggin really close to where she was. She kind of pushed him out, but it seemed like both lanes were pretty even on that restart. Where I thought the first initial start, the top lane didn't get a good jump. Seiss didn't really get through the gears good. Now they're a lot more even, and it's all about really these 3 cars or 6 cars under a blanket. What help comes to those guys and girls and kind of pushes them ahead. Looks like the
He's a very talented. He was a very good ARCA driver. I mean, I don't know if he could have done anything else in other success, like better rides and um, like better NASCAR equipment, but he was a great ARCA driver.
If they get a gap at the bottom, they shoot for it. And then, towards the end of the race, people are more willing to take chances and jump up to the top lane and try to push hard. But at the beginning of these things, everyone just wants to paint the line. And then, you have to fight really hard on that top to try to side draft as much as you can and just hope people will come to your back bumper with a good push to kind of shove that line along.
David Gravel doesn't look like he has a dance partner, but he is indeed holding his own here.
Yep, I'm gonna update like every 5 laps. It's gonna be like because it's a plate track. It's gonna be one of those things that's gonna be difficult to update as quick as it happens. I'm gonna go ahead and update every 5 laps. What the current running position is in the top 3. I'll go ahead and do it now. But because I can go ahead and update, and the next second it'll be something different, and then yep.
Just slowing you down. So that's what experience is about, and he's here to learn, and I'm sure he learned from that mistake, and will definitely put it in the back of his head.
They say you never really stop learning, especially in this style of racing, but how many laps do you think before a rookie at this race would begin to feel comfortable?
How many laps is this race? 80?
80?
I'd say 80. I still don't
90?
feel comfortable at these races. Like you said, you're always learning, and as these cars evolve, our Cup cars, for example, they've evolved so much in the past handful of years with the speedway packages that they draft differently. You have to, protect runs and block differently and push differently. So you're always kind of adapting and learning new tricks of the trade. And but for a rookie getting out here, you just want laps. You want to complete all laps. You want to watch what everyone behind you and in front of you are doing.
That first pack, that top 6 just broke off. I don't know if there's gonna be like a difference between speeds or what. It just broke off. They pulled almost 2 seconds from that 3rd place guy.
Riley Herbst running around in that Monster Energy car in the 3rd place right now. Katie, what do you got for me?
Rookie of the Year in 2017. This is actually his only 3rd Daytona start. I asked what he liked about this. He said, I love super speedways because a lot of people hate them. He likes the science behind them. He says some says it's a little bit of luck. I think it's a combo of luck, science, and skill. And speaking of skill, it turns out this guy is really good at the harmonica. Who knew, guys? Yeah.
Oh, we'll have to ask him to play for that afterwards. Right now, though, Riley Herbst trying to chase down your race leader, Michael Self, who only led 6 laps when he won in 2018, but he has dominated every lap so far at Daytona today. Daytona as we welcome you back to the ARCA Menard Series, the Lucas Oil 200, driven by General Tire. Line is out. Well, we'll show you. That's the green number 97 of Jason Kitzmiller out of West Virginia, former late model.
Nothing like coming back from commercial and there's a caution.
Middle of your screen, smoke coming out of the back. Not a crew chief, not a car chief. That's not good.
That is an engine failure is what that is. But we do have some pit stops here. None of the drivers way up front came down pit road. But we do. Brett Holmes is leading the group down pit road in the 23 car.
97, racing with Cody Robaugh. Cody's been a veteran of this sport, and here comes a lot of cars on pit road.
During that break, Ryan and I were talking about this is a little early for them to make the rest of the way. But if you're at the back of the pack, they really have nothing to lose. Brett Holmes got shuffled out there to start, so he's going to top it up with fuel. That just means he can go a little farther than the guys that have stayed on the racetrack. But again, they can talk maybe make about 50 laps, maybe even 55 with some caution laps. So this is a little bit early to make it the rest of the way. But again, they will have to spend less time on pit road than the other guys that have to stop later on.
Now there are still 67 laps to go as we complete lap 13 as we step away. Michael Self, and the Sinclair team still in command of the ARCA Menard Series at Daytona.
Ever since we moved here,
Eastern on Fox and the Fox Sports app.
Soil 200, driven by General Tire from the World Center of Racing, Daytona International Speedway. Cars beginning to get lined up, and gives us an opportunity to talk with Ryan Blaney, joining Phil and I. It is the ARCA Menard Series. It was great to see John Menards down in the drivers' meeting today, a man who's just meant so much to the sport.
Yeah, it was great to have John here today. He'll be here next week, obviously, for the 500. Just a great family. I mean, a great family who loves racing. They've been involved in motorsports for a very long time, not only stock cars, but Indy cars. all forms of racing. So, and to be, the title sponsor of this great series that, has a lot of mixtures between short tracks and super speedways and great places like this, that just speaks what Menard is all about, right? They love racing. They love what they do. One of the most genuine people you'll ever meet. I got the pleasure to be, Paul's teammate for a couple years there, and it's an absolute honor to have them on our car, especially for the 500 and the Clash and the 500. So we have Menards and Peak on our Ford Mustang here this whole week. But,
Self is choosing the outside line on this restart. That's interesting.
15 down, 65 to go. The 25 of Michael Self continues to pace the field. Jamie has more.
Well, he also started the race from pole, so we know he has a fast car, but in talking to his crew chief, Kevin Reed, they also have a very stable car. He said the drivability is as good as it's ever been. He mentioned that he won this race back in 2018. He actually did it behind the wheel of this exact car with Kevin sitting on the timing stand. Now, one of the things they have to look for as the sun begins to set here at Daytona is that the rear of the car likes to get a little light on them. So they're going to wait to make that change as long as they can when they come to pit lane and make sure they have a stable car to get it to the checker.
Yeah, you notice that Michael Self is going to restart this race from the outside. He took the lead both the other restarts from the inside, but he has a teammate, and that, I'm sure there are team orders. Look for that 15 of Drew Dollar on the inside, that silver car, to let Michael Self get the jump and get down in front of him.
You mentioned team with Kevin Reed again, a man who he won with in 2018. That is the car, as Jamie said, as he gets a little push right there. Here we go. We're ready to crank this thing back up. Somebody got to run on the outside against Self.
Looks like Connor Hall, maybe the 22 car. He was right behind Michael Self. And then, again, the team orders, he had to get clear of the 15 car of Drew Dollar, pull down in front of him, and it leaves Connor Hall right dead side by side with him now. Teammates lined up on the outside as well from Chad Bryant Racing. Jacob Hefner in the 77 car lined up right behind the 22 of Connor Hall.
So we saw it just like the last restart. The bottom lane formed up so good down the backstretch. There's just not enough cars in the top. The top will eventually come. It looks like it's kind of trying to get there, but I mean, you have double the cars on the bottom as on those three cars on the top. So it's just hard to maintain. You really hope everyone's organized. You have to have everyone working together, especially in these cars, to where it seems like you can never push each other. That's a big thing I noticed between these ARCA cars and our Cup cars, let's say, is we can get to the bumpers of our Cup cars really good and literally push really hard. It's not very stable, but it'll make you go really fast. And these cars, there's almost an air bubble, like we used to talk
That's exactly
about.
what they talk about, an air bubble between the front and the back of these cars.
And we used to have that last year a lot with the older style, as we have one blown up again. But that air bubble is kind of gone, but I do see it in these cars a lot.
That is Brad Smith. Yeah, engine goes away. Oil gets under the tire. Big spin happens. And the yellow flag will come out once again. Guy that's been doing it longer than most. Just loves coming
I
out
saw
people.
Self Dollar Hub when the caution came out.
Michigan was 26
Yep, I got it.
when that happened. A guy that with his start here today can make claims to making ARCA Menard Series starts in 5 consecutive decades.
I think still it's going to be a little bit early for these pit stops. We're right now 62 laps to go. Again, they talk about running 50, and again, they can stretch that with caution laps, but I think we might see the same guys that came down pit road last time may come down pit road again to top them off for the same reason. Not sure that we're going to see the guys right up front.
I don't know if he blew a tire or blew a motor or
Another motor.
what.
Let go.
It might be a motor.
Hot down here in Daytona.
It is.
Motors are running hot.
Well, there was a tremendous storm that came through a couple of days ago and really cleared it up. It's very comfortable out there, so the cars are certainly wanting to make a lot of power right now.
So I want to go back to that air bubble.
I'd like to know how
It's a
he
fascinating
spun
concept
it
we always
out.
talk about, and I'm sure the viewers at home can see. Yeah, these ARCA cars cannot lock bumpers. Imagine a big, giant, invisible beach ball in between the rear bumper and the front bumper of these cars. And as you close in, it literally just absorbs energy, whatever aerodynamics are going on, or if it's cow pressure. We're not really sure what it does, but then it kind of pushes that front car forward, and it's really hard to break that barrier. In our Cup cars, last year and years before that, when we talk about the beach ball a lot, you had to have a lot of people lined up behind you pushing really hard to get you to break that bubble. And it was the best thing when you could break the bubble, because then you could kind of stay there, within a foot. But it's a weird concept. It's different between every single series, from ARCA to trucks, Xfinity cars to Cup cars. They all draft totally different. Even though some of them look very similar, they all draft totally different. But that's something I really noticed with these ARCA cars. And to make a big move here towards the end, you might have to lay back to let that other car behind you get to your bumper to engage and try to push you forward.
Maybe even drag the brake a little bit to get back to that car behind you.
Yeah, so I think you'll see people playing with that as this race goes on and as they keep learning what they need to do to build runs and make moves, especially if you're in a position to try to win at the end of the race.
You know, we were talking
That makes sense. That makes sense.
What do you got going on?
I'm actually going out to Volusia.
There you go.
I'm gonna
That
go
would
to
make
the track.
sense.
My brother-in-law is racing out there, so I'm going to go watch the Outlaws. There was a great finish last night, and hopefully it's a better one tonight.
There's been some great racing out there.
Dirt Car UMP Modifieds, along with the second night of racing with the World of Outlaw NOS Energy Drink Sprint Cars. Was Donnie Schatz doing what Donnie Schatz does? This guy's an animal, isn't he?
Just doing Donnie things.
Yes, he is. It's exactly
Pretty impressive.
what he's doing. Well, got some attention being placed out there on the back stretch as the field makes their way down. Probably getting close. Phil, what do you think? 19 down, 61 to go.
It's getting close enough. We've seen a lot of caution laps already, so they may roll the dice and say, okay, I'm going to gamble. I'm going to stop now. If we don't get enough caution laps, then I can always come back down pit road, but he won't be at a disadvantage like these other guys up front would have been, because they would have to spend more time on pit road. If they come down pit road, top it off, then they're going to be even with the guys that pitted just a couple laps ago.
Top it off, make some adjustments, but no reason to change tires. They got tires that can go the distance.
Everybody in the garage area said these tires will last forever. They have a lot of grip. They don't wear out. Unless you slide the tires coming down pit road or run through some debris, nobody's planning on changing tires.
And you got to go off repetition, right? I mean, we've had, what, 4 cautions in 20 laps, so you might bet on if that's just going to keep happening, and I don't know how much you can't save 7 or 8 laps of fuel here, no matter how many cautions you get. That'd be a lot of caution laps. This place is so big, but it'll be interesting to see. I'm with you, Phil. I think the guys in the back will just come down pit road just for the heck of it. There's no reason why not to, and just kind of then see how all the cautions play out.
Well, the pits are closed, and that means nobody will be heading down that lane, at least not at this point.
Hell yeah, the off season's over. Racing's back.
Lucas Oil 200, driven by General Tire. The pits are open, and here comes the lead pack of cars onto pit road. Katie Osborne, they're coming at you.
The guy who says he just shows up into the tracks and rips it, it's Riley Herbst. He is running fourth right now. It's fuel only, no changes. He says he's happy. Jamie? And then the teammates of Drew Dollar and Michael Self made the decision to come together. It will be a gas and go scenario for both of them, except for the number 25 of Michael Self. They're going to do a shock adjustment, 3 clicks to the rear. They're going to do 1 to the front.
waiting on the fuel right now. They're telling him to hang on, hang on, hang on, and they send him.
Well, there was a hang-on moment just a moment ago for Riley Herbst. Almost came together with the 10 car. Now we got one spinning coming off of pit road.
Watch Riley leave pit road here. So close. Great move by the driver, Ryan Huff, to avoid Riley Herbst as he was coming out of his pits.
You know, we talk so much about the intangibles of rookie drivers racing in a environment like this with drafting. One of the things a lot of folks don't do in this series is come down pit road, make pit stops, and have to deal with that. But Riley Herbst will take his way back out onto the racetrack. We continued under caution here at Daytona. Back in a moment. McGloin and the New York Guardians. It all starts at 2 Eastern on Fox and the Fox Sports app. Back here with the ARCA Menard Series. The Lucas Oil 200 driven by General Tire. There is a new race leader. The reason we are not picking up green flag action right now, you're looking at it. Cone out on the backstretch. That poor orange Cone taking abuse.
He's not going to like that.
No, he is not. We had mentioned a lead change, though. It is now young Tanner Gray, the former NHRA Pro Stock champion, that assumes the lead. He didn't come down pit road that time. 15, though, is coming down pit road, Jamie.
And this is to serve a drive-through penalty. They told Drew over the radio, you've done everything right. Just go ahead, bring it in, just stay calm. The penalty is for the fuel can leaving the pit stall as he left pit lane. So nothing he did, but he still has to serve the time.
So Drew Dollar now currently 25th after that. Still, though, plenty of laps to make that back up.
And one more lap of fuel in that 15 car as well. He was running in the second spot prior to the pit stops.
Saw him come in with Michael Self. Those two teams taking it easy, getting as much fuel as they possibly could.
Watch that
this
gas
was the problem.
It cannot leave his pit box. You see it left his pit box as Drew comes straight out towards the grass here. He did a nice job of blocking the people coming out of the pits, but unfortunately, the gas can followed him out of his pit box.
Second place now Tanner Gray as Gus Dean and his Chevrolet scored in the lead with more on the 17ers, Katie.
Tanner Gray, who stayed out right there, he said Blake, his crew chief, he said he needs to stay out since nobody can make it on fuel from here anyway. But I did ask him about his confidence at the Super Speedway. He said, I am Tanner Gray, Super Speedway rookie versus the confident NHRA camp. I'm still working on finding that confidence. I assume leading this race right now will give him a bit of that, huh?
Indeed, and he is the race leader. He'll select the outside lane.
Yeah, sometimes our scoring will cycle at the start-finish line, and even though the 32 will be out in front, Tanner Gray is actually our leader, and he has chosen the outside. Don't know if there's any working together with Gus Dean that maybe try to get going here and maybe get out in front of Gus Dean and pull down in front of him.
Tanner getting some experience here at Daytona, prepping for the truck race next Friday. Schedule has definitely expanded for him on that route. For Tanner Gray, first laps led in ARCA in his 9th start, and the first time he's seen a green flag as a race leader. So we're back underway at Daytona.
Boy, a really nice job on that start. He's able to pull down in front of Gus Dean. He could have chosen to stay on the outside in front of Natalie Decker, but he's going to jump to the inside. For most of these drivers, that yellow line is your friend. You want to keep those left sides right on that yellow line, but we've got some momentum there on the outside, led by Sean Corr in the 8 car.
Look who's third in that freight train. It's the 25 Sinclair machine of Michael Self, who's getting a big shove, providing some of his own as well.
Some really good cars there in that outside line. Now Michael Self is leading that outside line with Natalie Decker right behind. I'm sorry, with Hailie Deegan in the 4 car right behind him. Now he's going to jump to the inside in front of the 17 of Tanner Gray.
There's Deegan working on the outside there.
Teammate Tanner Gray is going to move up in front of Hailie Deegan and see if they can work together to make something happen on the outside.
And as it stands, it's Sean Corr that leads lap number 25.
Sean Corr actually has a couple top 5 finishes here at Daytona. His best career finish is 5th, and he's done it twice here at Daytona.
On board with Gus Dean, looking across at Tanner Gray. As the cars come off of turn number 2.
I like that move by Tanner Gray to jump up in front of his teammate Hailie Deegan. It might not work right now, but we've got 55 laps to go. Let's try something here. We may have to make something happen later in this race, and they're holding their own right now, it looks like.
Off of the sunshine blanketed turn 4 into the shade of the tri-oval.
See Tanner Gray pulling over to side draft on that 25, that green and white car of Michael Self, to try to stall the momentum and to pull that 17 car up, that Ford, up towards the front of the field.
You mentioned the Ford of the 17 and the 4. That's a change for that race team over the offseason.
I was talking to team owner David Gillen along with Bola Mastis, and he said that was a pretty daunting task to change all their equipment over to Ford, but they have some great Fords here. They're going to run the ARCA Menards E-Series race at New Smyrna Monday night with another one of their cars.
Now it's Gus Dean that's tucked on the inside. That's the black 32 that's on the inside of Hailie Deegan. You rode on board with him just a moment ago. Sort of a feeling out, sorting it out process right now, as we're quickly approaching a third of the way through this race.
And when you're on the bottom of the racetrack, you don't really want to fudge up towards the middle of the racetrack, because if you do, that car behind you will close into that hole, and you'll try to get back down, and there will not be a hole there.
Phil, a longtime veteran of this sport, what is the process of going through a race like this? Do you ever get settled in and try to stay calm, like now in the middle portions of this race?
We saw it early on when we had 6 cars running single file. That was as calm as it's going to be. Not calm right now, but again, these guys and girls are trying to learn, Dave, to try to figure out what might work if we get down towards the end of this race. Right now, that outside line, that's the best formed it's been this entire race, and they're maintaining position on the racetrack with Michael Self, who's running 3rd.
Right behind him is the 32 of Gus Dean. Let's learn what that team is thinking with Jamie.
Well, it's those high-pressure situations you talk about that really drives Gus Dean. He told me this morning that the way he's gone through life is that you always find what it is that scares you the most, and then you do it anyway. He said every time he gets behind the wheel of one of these cars, every time he puts his helmet on, he feels those nerves. And being in a pack like this is exactly what makes him thrive, Katie.
Natalie Decker said on track she is focusing on being patient and actually in survival mode. She did, though, she told me a story, taking it back to when when she was 14 or 15 years old, she and her family went to a water park in Michigan. Now, they wrote down a big vision board, not only for her, but for the family as a whole. At 18, she said, my goal was to be racing in ARCA. As she's continued to progress, she has been able to incrementally knock off things on her vision board, which is really something that makes her smile, and she gets kind of that racing blood in her family. Her dad was a championship snowmobile racer, and so were her grandparents. So Natalie Decker has racing in her blood, and we're seeing that out on track.
She's got a good Daytona track record. Raced in 18 from the pole, finished 5th with Venturini. In 19, moved over to the GGR Crosley team, finished 6th. So she's a very good racer at this facility.
She's got a great bunch of people behind her right now. Donnie Richardson, longtime crew chief for Kenny Schrader, is her crew chief, but she has Tony Uri Jr., a longtime Cup crew chief for Michael Waltrip, and Dale Jr., his cousin, is on the pit box as well.
And that is the 52 car she drives. It's Kenny Schrader's car. Spending a lot of time at Volusia as well. Not driving, a little work done on his shoulder, but Kenny Schrader, he'll continue to drive as long as he can for sure.
That sun's a bit of an issue right now coming off turn 4 for these drivers. See Jacob Hefner really doing a nice job. He mentioned that he was a track champion at Hickory Motor Speedway. There's a little bit of history at Hickory Motor Speedway.
Just a little.
Some of the past champions. How about Harry Gant? How about Ned Jarrett? Junior Johnson? How about some of those guys as track champions? Ralph Earnhardt.
He's a kid that's very storied in the history of the sport. Once put together a car in Ricky Rudd colors. Loved playing with it as a kid. Decided to pay tribute to him.
He's really doing a nice job here on that outside line. See Thad Moffitt, that 46 car. Remember, he started at the very back of the pack, and he's up here in the lead draft now, racing in the top 10.
Well, Sean Corr led the most laps at Talladega last year, so you know he can get it done here at these big racetracks.
See how close those drivers on the inside are staying to that double yellow line. Gustine is the only guy that's creeping up away about a half a car width above that double yellow line. If he goes up too far, then Natalie Decker will try to jump in that hole and squeeze him out to the outside, and that would put him in the middle, which would be the worst thing that could happen.
Meanwhile, Tanner Gray, Haley Deegan continue to try to work that outside line. J.J. Pack is part of that as well in car number 61.
Just mentioned the 23 of Brett Holmes. What a tremendous season he had last year. Got hooked up with crew chief Shane Huffman. By the way, he's a Hickory track champion as well. Shane Huffman, the crew chief. Ooh, 3 wide.
And this is for the lead. Boy, things just changed in an instant there. As it looks like Tanner Gray will bring his Ford. Now he's getting a feel on the inside from the 23 of Holmes, who we were talking about. Brett Holmes looking for his first win.
And Sean Corr stuck in the middle. You see him going all the way towards the back of this pack here.
I talked to the driver of that white and blue 23 just moments before the cars were fired. Talked about an abbreviated schedule, not a full-timer this year. I asked him, does that make you race differently, knowing you don't have to protect points and you can be a little more aggressive going after that first win? He says, well, I never really thought about it till you brought it up, but yeah.
I think he was aggressive going after every win last year.
Yes, he was.
A great season, 3rd in points. But he also told me he will run some truck races this year, too. So we'll look forward to seeing him in a truck.
Brett coming out of Munford, Alabama.
Senior at Auburn University.
Getting her done. So Michael Self, who was once so dominant early, got shuffled back, but now he's on the back bumper of the 23. 33 laps down, 47 to go here at Daytona.
Next to your vehicle's engine, your transmission is the most important component of your car. If it's not properly maintained, your car may not shift properly. By adding Lucas Transmission Fix to your transmission, it cleans and lubricates sticking valves for proper shifting, renews worn bands to stop slipping, stops seal leaks, will not void new car warranties, contains no harmful solvents. Lucas Transmission Fix. It works.
When it comes to America's most loved pizza, love is limitless. At Marco's, enjoy unlimited medium one-topping pizzas for just $6.99 each. You could order just one, but why limit yourself? Hello to America's most loved pizza. Hello, Marco.
The pack through turns 3 and 4 at Daytona as we welcome you back to the ARCA Menard Series, the Lucas Oil 200, driven by General Tire. How did he get that lead? It was a spirited moment here at Daytona. Sean Corr looked like he had things covered, but he didn't cover everything.
He got too far in front. Look at the momentum that second row had. He was trying to block both lanes, but Brett Holmes said, I have enough room on the bottom. I'm going by you. Sean Corr went all the way to the back of that pack.
And we were talking about restrictor plate racing. Suddenly, that's how you go from the lead. And then after this wild moment, courtesy of our onboard camera from Chevrolet, Sean Corr now being scored way back in the 9th spot.
He left just enough room. He left just enough room for Brett Holmes, and Brett took advantage of it. But a great battle here for the second position. Michael Self, the 25 on the inside, and Tanner Gray has stayed right there. Look at Brett Holmes now. He's trying to block both lanes as well. He's trying to kill the momentum on whichever lane looks like it has the momentum.
Hailie Deegan back there doing everything she can to try to push those teammates past the 23, but the 23 slides up, takes that momentum away.
Well, that's going to help them, too. That's going to get Tanner Gray out in front of Michael Self for now. Now let's see if Tanner Gray takes this opportunity to jump down in front of Michael Self and get in behind the 23. He's not. He's going to stay on the outside, and Michael Self is now going to pull back up to the bumper of Brett Holmes.
Spotter's job, very, very important right now. Brett Holmes' spotter, Jamie's doing a good job keeping him in front.
Yes, that's David Nealon. He's sending a couple of warnings to Brett. He's telling him, get comfortable with that mirror because you're going to have to start using it a little bit more. But he said, when I tell you to drag the brake, I also need you to do it. He said, you're getting a little far ahead of the rest of the pack, and you're not going to get the same push, Kate.
Blaine Blanebridge, the crew chief on the 17 car, is saying that they can go to lap 54 on fuel. Of course, this is all coming down to strategy. Dave?
You see the 69 car, lap car, Scott Melton involved. No trouble, incident, contact. Now we do have big-time problems.
It happens so often when they try to get by lap cars. You see Jacob Hefner with a lot of damage. That's Dave Mater, the 63 silver
ran up front for a long, long time as well.
There's Connor Hall, the 22, teammates with Jacob Hefner.
When they show this replay, watch Natalie Decker. She pretty much just. Oh.
There's Natalie Decker.
She's involved. The 01 car also involved. That's John Ferrier out of New York. There's 63 car. Absolutely tore up.
Boom. You're right. Boom
Willie
is
Mullins
correct.
In the car also with damage. That's Jacob Hefner right there. You can see him moving around in the car and the window net down. There's Connor Hall, the 22.
Heck yeah, Big Greg.
28 with some damage.
There was nowhere for that lap car to go, though. The lap car is what caused that. I'm trying to avoid the lap car.
They'll no doubt take a peek at that.
Another car is flipped.
It happened very, very quickly. And it all kind of got started when the 69 of Scott Melton running around on the inside.
Well, you see him on the inside. You see him. They're passing him. And you see the 61 moves over, and the 22.
Why did the 61 move over?
And the 77 of Jacob Hefner was right there. See Connor Hall make some contact with some cars on the outside. Natalie Decker is the one that makes contact with Jacob Hefner. He would have gotten by, but she had no place to go. You see Andy Seiss, the 02, also involved. But it all stems from trying to get around the lap car. The lap car of Scott Melton wasn't doing anything wrong. He was on the inside of the racetrack against the double yellow line.
Boy, there's one car, I believe it's Riley Herbst, that just somehow avoids all of this. Watch the 18 car, middle of your screen, black 18. It's all going to come sliding. Missed it there. Car's going to come sliding down in front of him a little bit further down. Riley Herbst doing a great job of staying out of that incident here that's happened on lap 39.
I think more than half the field was involved in that incident.
Well, when you get
I think that more than half the field's involved in the incident. There's like, what, 33 cars in the field? You think that?
Was the big one.
Riding along with Jacob Hefner, you hear him playing with the throttle. That's the lap car they're going by right there.
I only get 20.
You see the 61 move down, makes contact with Connor Hall to the 22, and there's 52 of Natalie Decker.
ARCA, that's what went wrong, folks. That's what went wrong there.
More than 10 cars involved in an incident here in turn 1. Now on board with the 15 car, Drew Dollar.
You hear it gearing down. What a great job. Way down away from the racetrack through the grass. But he avoided those cars. Nice job by Drew Dollar, that 18-year-old.
Cleanup is on here at Daytona International Speedway after this incident involving more than 10 cars. The big one happening in the ARCA Menard Series just at the halfway point of the Lucas Oil 200. A major incident involving many cars. Sounds like a perfect time, Phil Parsons, for our Richmond Water Heaters mid-race recap, where we highlight the yellow flag.
Lap number 1, Andy Seiss tries to get in the hole that wasn't there. He makes contact with David Gravel. Does a nice job avoiding everybody, but there was a little bit of contact with some cars behind him trying to avoid him. There you see the 88 of Reeves get together with the 7 of Eric Caudle.
Next time the caution comes out, it's for the 97, the all-construction Chevrolet of Jason Kitzmiller out of Petersburg, West Virginia. That is an expired engine.
Brad Smith, the 48 car, spins in his own oil after he loses an engine. He brings out another caution.
This is a no-no. Can't drag anything out of your pits. Drew Dollar did that running second at the time during a pit stop. He's now been shuffled to the back, and here is that major incident with major carnage entering turn 1.
I think it started with they were lapping the 69 of Scott Melton and the 61 of J.J. Papp. After he got by Scott Melton, tried to get back in line on the inside, and he made some contact with Connor Hall, the 22 car, and I think that's what started this incident.
Michael Self has led the most laps, but he currently doesn't lead. It is Brett Holmes, as we've had 5 leaders, 6 different lead changes, and that caution flag, it's been out for 15 laps. Look at the drivers involved.
Yeah, a lot of strong cars here. Andy Seiss qualified second. See, David Gravel had a great run going. He's back in the 28 car. Natalie Decker also doing extremely well in the 52. Dave Mader in the 63, and Jacob Hefner also in that 77 car involved.
Dominique Van Waringen, Canadian racer, making her ARCA debut, also involved. She was top of the speed charts through testing as we send it down to Jamie.
Well, Kevin Reed, the crew chief for Michael Self, a lot of caution period. You guys are back, not leading the race at the moment, but how do you get back to it when the race is so inconsistent like this?
Well, I think we're going to come back to pit road and top off when they go back green here. And no General tires for tonight. They're phenomenal. We can run 80 laps on all 4 General tires, so we'll be good there. We'll come back down and put about 3 seconds of fuel in it, and hopefully we'll leave with the lead. We had a little miscue on the first stop, and we come in with the lead, but no harm, no foul. Michael got up on the wheel there and drove back to second, so we're in pretty good shape here coming back, and hopefully it'll shape up there to be for us to win here at the end.
One of the things we've talked a lot about is experience versus the rookies. When you have an experienced driver behind the wheel, how does that help you in a race like this one?
It's always easier when a guy's been here before or had some experience with the plate race, and Michael's phenomenal everywhere. So we got a pretty good shot at it tonight. If we can get somebody to team up with us, maybe get one of our friends that we brought with us behind us here and give us a little shove, we'll be all right.
Racing is definitely a team sport. Katie?
We're hearing the rookie here at Daytona International Speedway. Hailie Deegan is very patient out there. Seth Smith, her crew chief here. We also heard that there's a potential vibration happening in her car. How is the car holding up?
Everything's holding up really well. We slid the fronts there. There was some oil on the racetrack and got everyone stacked up under caution. We slid the fronts a little. So a little concerned we may have vibration. We'll see how it shakes out when we go back under caution here.
At the top of the race, we talked that the strategy was working, the 2 teammates working together, both her and Tanner. How is Hailie holding down the fort?
She's doing a super good job. They both are really. They're real conscious of where the other one is and what's going on. So just need to get our other car up there and get all 3 of them together, and I think we'll have a good shot.
Wishing you and the rest of the team the best out there.
Thank you.
It will be a season of firsts for Hailie Deegan as she continues to run for that Rookie of the Year category. Hailie Deegan will start in 5th when the green flag comes back on. On board, you're riding along with Jacob Hefner, the Dallas, North Carolina native at Chad Bryant Racing, following the big incident here today, the Lucas Oil 200.
Good lunch.
Amazing.
Toyota, let's go places.
It's more than a slogan. Whether you're on the track or making your own track.
General Tire, anywhere is possible.
I can overcome any challenge.
Murder really does follow you everywhere.
Watch the fall's #1 new show anytime on demand.
How can I help?
You have no idea what you did to me.
My boy, I made you.
You destroyed me.
Your family is your fatal flaw.
Might as well go out with a bang.
Prodigal Son, Mondays at 9, or watch anytime on Fox Now or Hulu.
I've been to Floyd Mayweather fight. I've been to Mike Tyson fight. No comparison.
Who is the highest paid athlete for you the last 4 years? Floyd Mayweather.
But his fights are boring. That thing he did with Conor McGregor was boring. Mayweather won't stand toe-to-toe.
Toe-to-toe for Floyd means, take this and you can't hit me.
Heavyweights just ain't gonna dance forever.
Because they out of shape.
I know. When you see a fight, you want to see somebody fall.
Ooh, that ding-ding is special, right?
The setting sun in the west as we look that direction. So we welcome you back to the Lucas Oil 200, driven by General Tire. A picture-perfect day that will turn into a picture-perfect evening. Of course, that's looking west. Let's also look east to the other side, out over the Atlantic Ocean. Take a look at that moon, Phil, coming up over the horizon.
Gorgeous.
Still under red flag conditions, cars at a pause out on the backstretch because of the big incident. Meanwhile, we have a race leader, Brett Holmes, his 62nd race, Phil, but it's only the 5th time he's been able to lead a race. Doing a good job.
But after the season he had last year, that strong third-place finish in the points, it does not surprise me, especially with Shane Huffman calling the shots.
Should we get a chance to talk to him? Let's see if we can dial him up.
Hey, Brett Holmes, Phil Parsons up in the Fox booth. You got a copy? Well, that thing looks pretty good out front there. I know that's the plan, to keep that thing up front. You got any friends out there to work with?
Yes, it's been a while since I haven't seen a car in front of me, and especially one of these plate tracks. But we're really good, man. It's just a blessing to be able to race here, not just even lead the race. I mean, it's amazing feeling. It's really surreal, honestly. You train for stuff like this. It's just it's stressful for sure. We coming up here blocking these guys. These guys are good. Just hope we can keep it out front.
Is Shane going to bring you down pit road on the caution flag here to get you enough fuel to go to the end?
You got a different question you can ask?
Well, you're the first one that's going to come to pit road, so I don't think you're going to surprise anybody.
Yeah, just you don't want to give anything away,
All right, buddy. Good luck.
There's nobody down there, checking into our broadcast, are they?
They can just tell us. I mean, we won't tell
anybody. Come on.
But Dave, he's leading the race. If he comes to pit road, they're going to know it.
And the way he got that lead of the race, too, was very, very spectacular. Cars getting ready to fire back up as the yellow lights come back on. The work over in turn number 1 has been completed by the Daytona International Speedway staff. And when we come back, I guarantee those pits will be open. And the game will once again change. We'll have the story of how it all happens on pit road when we come back to the ARCA Menards Series and the Lucas Oil 200.
Some say we're a little spoiled in California.
But it isn't our fault. Nope. We didn't make all this.
We're not too.
We get a little starstruck.
Did you see who's here? Sometimes we have to pinch ourselves
to make sure it's real.
Smoothie?
This is real. I think it's a wig.
Still think we're spoiled?
Come visit.
It might take your breath away, too.
Start your trip at visitcalifornia.com.
I'm Jimmy Dean, and Mother Nature sure doesn't cut any corners when she paints a morning like that. And we know there is no shortcut to quality. And that's why we use nothing but the very best sausage that money can buy. Paint yourself a beautiful morning.
How do you learn how to play like that? How do you always find the best stuff to watch? How do they make shoes like that?
Happy 100 rides, step in Kansas City.
How do they know that?
It goes deep from the pocket. Catch probability 13%.
How do they know this stuff?
If someone asks if you want your quarter pounder's cheese on top of the patty or right below it, your answer is yes. The hottest, juiciest quarter pounder yet. It's perfect. Made perfecter. Ba-da-ba-ba-ba.
It's time to get a whole new perspective on Ram trucks. Because to us, there are no small jobs, no little tasks. And when it comes to innovation, there are no modest ideas. No wonder why more people are switching to Ram than ever before. Ram trucks, back-to-back Motor Trend Truck of the Year.
Now get an average $11,505 in total values on the 2020 Ram 1500 plus these additional incentives.
Day beginning to turn tonight here at Daytona International Speedways. The ARCA Menard Series campaigns, the Lucas Oil 200, driven by General Tire, which is now officially 40 down, 4 to go. But cars just getting back up to speed after a major incident. Cars getting back up to speed and coming down pit road. We had our eyes on all of the action. And what did we see when they made that turn?
Yeah, just as we thought, the majority of the field came down pit road. They know they can stop now, get enough fuel to get to the end of the race. Very few cars on pit road change tires. Here they come. You see Tanner Gray, the 17 car. He is one of the cars, one of the few cars that actually put tires on. He will put 4 tires on. There's Brett Holmes in the center, our leader. He didn't surprise anybody. He was the first one on pit road.
Exactly.
Fuel only for him. You see Michael Self, our pole sitter, down to the bottom of the screen. He's also fuel only. Again, almost every car here did fuel only. Tanner Gray is about the only car that put tires on in that 17 Ford.
And it looked like Self was the first off, followed by Holmes, then the 18 of Herbst. We'll see how scoring and timing recycles everything. But for more on what happened with the 17, let's go down to Katie.
Well, just like Hailie Deegan, the 17 car was also worried about flat spotting those tires. So all 4 tires were changed plus fuels. We know it's one of the only cars out there that have done that, Jamie.
That race off of pit lane, it came down to Michael Self and his crew chief Kevin Reed telling him, I don't care if you give me a John Force burnout. When we're done fueling, you leave this pit stall. That's exactly what they did. They needed less fuel than the number 23 with Brett Holmes behind the wheel. They needed about 7 seconds, but they told him, stay calm. We get to go racing.
Of course, John Force, the 16-time NHRA Funny Car champion, NHRA qualifying from Pomona, coming up after us as they kick off their season over on the, I guess, the left coast, right, California?
I would think Tanner Gray would know how to do a whole shot, too.
He still would, absolutely. That kid was lethal. Couple of years racing in the category. Rookie of the year, youngest winner, youngest champion. And this is a team that's driven. Thought we'd see a little bit more of Tanner Gray, but no, he's making the next step up.
Yeah, full-time in the Truck Series for DJR Crosley this year. He will still run a handful of ARCA races.
He still will, absolutely. Well, and he said this was important as there are other truck racers that are going to compete on Friday that are out here just learning the ropes again, reacclimating themselves to the Daytona International Speedway. Will that sun be down when we go green? Find out with us in just a moment.
There is less than 1/100th of an inch of motor oil protecting your car's engine. Friction and heat causes engine oil to experience thermal breakdown, weakening its ability to protect the engine and its parts. Lucas Heavy Duty Oil Stabilizer is specially formulated to resist thermal breakdown, protect vital engine parts, and extend the life of your engine. It also stops smoking, knocking, and oil consumption in worn engines. Lucas Heavy Duty Oil Stabilizer. Keep that engine alive.
When it's time for a new water heater in your home, trust the water heater experts at Richmond. Richmond is an industry-leading manufacturer of water heaters that are reliable and efficient. Choose from high-quality natural gas and LP models, electric and electric hybrid heat pump water heaters, or whole-house tankless models that give you a continuous supply of hot water. You'll find a great selection of Richmond water heaters to meet your needs at Menards.
Save big money at Menards.
Cover it up. That's what I did when I started losing my hair. Then I realized I could actually do something. Now I use Keeps, the easiest way to keep my hair. And it only costs $1 a day, which means no more covering up. Get started at Keeps.com.
I sent your new prescription to the pharmacy. Any idea how much it will cost? You have a choice. Insurance or GoodRx? I have insurance. Insurance is not what it used to be. People struggle to get their prescriptions covered, and prices keep rising. I recommend GoodRx. You get free coupons to save on your prescriptions.
Compare prices to find the best discounts.
GoodRx. Smart.
Stop paying too much for your prescriptions. Download the free app today.
Here's a preview of what's to come next week from Daytona, beginning with the duel at Daytona on FS1 Thursday at 6. Then it's the Gander Truck Race, the Xfinity Race, and then some little ditty they call the Daytona 500. Not a bad little racing menu.
The Great American Race.
The Great American Race at the World Center of Racing. Sounds like a great descriptor for sure.
What a great week it's going to be here in Daytona.
How about that 4-car, Hailie Deegan? I'll tell you what, she raced 6 times with the Venturini team last year. Had a number of good finishes, a couple of DNFs, but this is a girl that gets after it.
Yeah, she had a top 5 at Lucas Oil Raceway, so she's done a great job in this race here. She worked with her teammate. They made that outside line work. She's with Brett Holmes now, who's been very, very fast. I think she's done absolutely everything that's been asked of her, and if she can just finish it off, and she's learning.
Right.
So she's learning. She's preparing for the end of this race. She's really done a super job.
Well, if you follow her on social media, she talked a little bit about what it was like to draft in an even bigger pack in practice, and this is a girl that definitely is learning the ropes. Michael Self, now with a push from the 18. Brett Holmes has been shuffled back to 3rd. Michael Self will lead into turn number 1.
Brett Holmes jumps down to the inside, jumps in behind Riley Herbst, leaves Hailie Deegan leading that outside line there. That's the 8 of Sean Corr lined up behind Hailie. Hailie's in that black number 4. There's Thad Moffitt. He's actually a teammate to Hailie with DJR Crosley. That's him in the 46 car, Richard Petty's grandson.
Made the move over to the Fords after racing with the Empire crew last year. 36 laps to go. Michael Self, who's already led 24 of them, can really put a stranglehold on that extra point. The bonus point for leading the most laps. I heard Kevin Reed say it was a bit of a botched pit stop the first time through to fuel that car up. They didn't botch that one. They won the race off.
Yeah, look at that side-by-side battle for the 5th spot. That's Hailie Deegan, the 4 car on the outside. That's the 11 of Chuck Hires on the inside. Those guys need to get, and girls need to get single file to try to catch this group in front of him. They don't need to let that group of 4 drive away from them. You see Sean Corr now is going to jump to the inside and get behind Chuck Hires in that 11 car.
You mentioned Chuck Hires, his crew chief's David Ift. He's got some history here.
Yes, he does.
Cale Yarborough, winner of the summer Daytona race back in '81.
My brother Benny's crew chief for a couple of years. He was my crew chief.
Toyota on board.
DW's crew chief when he drove for Dygard.
You gotta love Daytona. Not only brings out the young, raw talent, but it brings out guys that have been doing this forever, and that is how some of these kids transition. Let's check in with Katie.
The road to Daytona, both figuratively and literally, has been quite a wild ride for Hailie Deegan. Literally, she said it's been a lot of time and effort studying film watch, and she's learning a lot here. However, also getting here to Daytona International Speedway was a lot of fun, as she said, with her family. They actually were in the middle of the tornadoes that were happening on the East Coast there, and they're from California, so they actually had a phone alert go off, and they were like, tornadoes, what? Brian Deegan, her dad, was actually nervous enough, and this is a guy who definitely knows all about adrenaline, was even white-knuckling. They had to pull over to the side of the road. As Marissa, her mom, said, they were probably a mile or 2 away from tornadoes that actually touched down. Once they got back on the road, everything was fine. But Hailie was commenting about the road to Daytona. It's pretty wild. Jamie?
As we watch some packs start to form here, I want to go back to something that happened this afternoon at the drivers' meeting. All of these drivers were told that there are 3 things that race control expects from them. They expect patience, common sense, and working together. The question was asked, what about locking bumpers? The result was there is no penalty, but they don't want it to happen.
They certainly don't want it to happen in the corners. Bumping, that's one thing, but locking them up is a no-no.
It's amazing, though, how much speed you can get by locking bumpers. It's too early in the race right now to do that. We have 34 laps to go. You see that group of 4 cars pulling out. Now, these cars continue to run side by side for the 5th position. Chuck Hires really doing a nice job running up in the top 5. He and Hailie Deegan, though, side by side. Hailie has her teammate now, Tanner Gray, behind her. If they could just get clear of Chuck Hires, I think they could probably chase down. As you see, the 11 of Chuck Hires may have got a little bit loose getting in the corner, moved up the racetrack. Hailie had some take some evasive action.
You know, the road to Daytona wasn't the only tricky one. The airways were tough getting here for a lot of folks, too.
Yeah, they were.
Understand there's some snow up in Georgia, North Carolina.
Watch us just talk about this a moment. We'll see if Chuck Hires maybe gets a little bit loose. She pulls down. Actually, it looked like Tanner Gray pulled up behind her and almost shoved her car to the inside a little bit. She got very close, and that pulled Chuck Hires' car on the inside up towards her.
Right up to it, man.
Good heads-up driving by both those drivers to keep those cars straight.
Well, there's no doubt she understands how a race car works. And we always talked about Tanner Gray, whether it was at the NHRA or even last year when we saw him. This is a kid that's not afraid to make a mistake, but he usually learns from that mistake and will not repeat it.
It's amazing what he's been able to do with such limited experience in these kind of vehicles. Now you see them losing a little bit of ground to that outside line. There's a lap car. That's Scott no, that's actually Thad Moffitt now. That front 3 has driven away from Thad Moffitt now. He's falling back into the clutches of this second pack. You see the gap now between the top 3 and Thad Moffitt. Now Thad's going to have some help here from Chuck Hires in that 11 car, driving for Andy Hillenberg.
Meanwhile, it's a walk in the park out in front for Michael Self, Riley Herbst, and Brett Holmes as they cross the start-finish line, 0.8 of a second ahead for the 4th place runner. Jamie.
Right in the middle of that second pack you just saw is that silver number 15 with Drew Dollar behind the wheel, and he is starting to get frustrated. He said nobody's picking a line. He doesn't know where to go. His spotter says once you can move ahead, we get in front of that 4 car. He said you're fast enough. You can get up there to the lead pack.
Big impact. Chuck Hires is in the wall.
They were single file on the inside of the racetrack. Tremendous amount of damage to Chuck Hires' car.
The home builder out of Florida here was running 5th at the time.
Window net's down, and that's a good sign there, Dave.
Window net down means the driver is okay, does not need immediate attention. Although I guarantee he's still feeling the effects. That was a quick right-hand turn and a very hard impact with the wall.
Possibly some bump drafting there, maybe gone wrong. Let's see if we can see what happens. You see,
that's Hailie right behind.
Right behind him. Gets right up against the rear bumper. Now they're not together, and then he kind of moved to the inside, and so she made contact with the right rear corner of that car. These bumpers don't line up exactly, and I think that contact turned him dead right into the outside wall.
There you see it again, yep, and one little tap is all it takes. I'm not a physics guy, but I certainly understand the physics of what happened right there.
It looked like the first bump moved his car to the inside, and that left that right rear corner of his car exposed, and I think there was more contact with the right rear corner, which turned him directly into the outside wall.
It's one of Andy Hillenberg's cars, former champion of the sport that now fields many cars, driver development program there.
There's going to be another view. You see that initial bump moved him to the inside, and then when he tried to correct it, that put Hailie on his right rear side of his bumper. They didn't line up properly, and that just turned him into the wall.
Cars behind doing a good job of avoiding the incident means it's only a 1-car incident, but it's a costly one for Chuck Hires. He was the only Florida driver in the field a year ago. Got to wonder what's going through the mind of Hailie Deegan now.
And absolutely no intent there. If anything, she was trying to help Chuck Hires. They were trying to catch that group in front of them, and looked like just a little bit of bump drafting went wrong.
Another little shake-up here as the 11 car ends up into the wall down the backstretch here at Daytona. As there are 50 laps down, still 30 to decide. The Lucas Oil 200, driven by General Tire.
There he is. Oh, wow. You're doing really great with the twirling.
Dad, if you want to talk, I have a break at 3.
Okay. I'm going. It's like Like I wasn't here. Keep doing it, buddy.
Switch to Progressive and you can save hundreds. You know, like the sign says.
Rain-X Premium Silicone Wiper Blades last 2 times longer than traditional wipers. If Rain-X Premium Silicone Wipers survive these conditions, clearly they'll last in yours. Rain-X, outsmart the elements.
I've got new Mountain Dew Zero Sugar with the same refreshing taste as the original, but without any of the sugar. Here's Mountain Dew Zero.
I am thirsty.
General Tire was born more than 100 years ago, right here in America. We've spent the last century tackling every kind of road this country has to offer, and especially the places without roads. So you know that with General Tire, anywhere is possible.
Guys, got hair loss? I know what you're thinking. Should I shave my head? Comb it over? Wear a hat? Just stop. This isn't 1970. Keep your hair and your confidence because Bosley, America's #1 hair restoration expert, can give you your real hair back permanently. Check them out today because they're giving away an absolutely free information kit and a free gift card to everyone who texts COMB to 642-642. Dude, you don't have to look like your dad because this isn't your dad's hair loss treatment. People all over the country trust Bosley because they're ahead of the curve. They use the latest technology to give you your real hair back. And the best part, Bosley's permanent solution is protected by the Bosley Guarantee. Let them show you for free how awesome your hair could look with an absolutely free information kit and a gift card for $250 off. Text COMB to 642-642. Ask about the Bosley Guarantee. That's COMB to 642-642.
It is one of the greatest weeks in motorsports. Speed Weeks in Daytona starts tomorrow at noon Eastern with Daytona 500 qualifying on Fox. Then at 2, switch over to FS1 and see who will take home the first checkered flag of the year in the Clash at Daytona. All the action can also be seen on the Fox Sports app. Cars continue to roll around. Incident involving the 11 car. Katie has more on what's going on and what she's heard from the team.
Chuck Ayers, his 4th Daytona race. He's not happy with the number 4 car of Hailie Deegan. A hard hit, but he is okay. The wind got knocked out of him, so he's still catching his breath, as the team is saying. Heading on over to the number 4 car, there's no damage to their knowledge and no comment on what Chuck had to say about the 4.
Yeah, there's a contact right there. And again, she's just trying to get him to move up towards Thad Moffitt in that 46 car so they could chase down that front car. A little bit of a bump moved his car to the left, and when he corrected it back to the right, that ended up with Haley's bumper on the right rear side of his bumper. They don't match up properly, and that just turned him in the wall. Again, no intent there whatsoever.
No. Major league impact, though, and you certainly got to sit there and compose yourself for a little bit after taking a lick that hard. So officially, we are 52 laps down, working lap number 53 right now. Michael Self has led 33 laps. And he is back out in front, the man who won here in 2018 with Kevin Reed out in the box. He's back with Kevin Reed. In fact, it's the whole championship team from Christian Eckes back. And he said, basically, they just said, we just changed colors on the car and got a different driver.
Yeah, well, they won some races, together. They won this race back here a couple years ago together. Yep. Exactly. So they're no strangers to each other. So I think that's going to be a pretty potent combination that's going to battle for this championship all the way to the end. 1 lap to go. Denise Engel, the official starter of ARCA, giving the signal to go. The lights are off on the pace truck. 2.5 miles. We'll turn this thing around. The green flag will come out. In the meantime, let's check in with Jamie.
One thing that's happening on pit lane right now are crew chiefs are starting to run up and down the pit lane, talking to one another to say, hey, can we work together? Can we not work together? What if my driver goes high? What if yours goes low? How can we stack up and do this? Kevin Reed ran down to try and talk to Mark McFarland. He said, I don't know if it's going to work out or not, but Phil, this is something you can talk to when you're out there on the racetrack and your team is trying to tell you, look for this guy. You can work with him. How do you manage that?
Well, sometimes it's hard because sometimes you never see him. I've had plans before the race and say, okay, we're going to work together, and then never saw that other driver the entire race. I think you have to go with somebody that's going to help you, because it's going to help themselves as well. It's great to have a plan. You've got a couple Toyotas there that may work together with Riley Herbst, Michael Self, but then you've got Fords and Chevrolets behind them. Another teammate back in 7th is the Dollar, and he's a teammate to Michael Self, so if he could get up there, they would work together. But again, you're going to work together with somebody that's going to make sense right now.
Incredible racetrack, Phil. You're one of the guys that's gone around this thing. 31-degree corners, 3 degrees on the backstretch. What's it like to go 200 miles an hour on a racetrack?
Well, it feels flat. These corners at 31 degrees actually feel flat, so it's a fun racetrack to drive. It's a lot narrower than Talladega. We clumped Daytona, Talladega together, but this racetrack is a lot narrower and banked less than Talladega. But sometimes this racetrack can be a challenge, and we've seen that happen today for sure.
When you come to Daytona, make sure you get a chance to see the start-finish line. Make sure you stand in the corners and take a look at cars on the banking. Absolutely impressive. Michael Self. Outside of him, it will be Hailie Deegan. The start-finish line about to come alive again. Pace car pulls in. Is this the stretch drive? 27 laps to go, or will we have more cautions? The green is back out, and Brett Holmes is on the back bumper of your race leader.
Boy, Brett Holmes is doing a great job pushing the 25 of Michael Self. Riley Herbst is doing all he can do to try to stay even with Brett Holmes. See Thad Moffitt there, the 46 car, pulls up behind Riley Herbst. He doesn't seem like he's had the pace to stay with that car. And we saw him lose that front 3 earlier right before that caution flag.
The outside line trying to get a run on the 25. Michael doing a good a job he can to block both lines. Does entering turn 3.
Hailie Deegan doing a nice job. She's going to try to slide in there behind the 23 of Brett Holmes. Not let Riley Herbst down into that 18 car. Even though they're both sponsored by Monster, they are not teammates. Hailie drives for DGR Crosley. Joe Gibbs Racing there for the 18 of Riley Herbst.
One's a Toyota, one's a Ford as well. For more on the 18, here's Katie.
Well, Phil, I think you were just talking about Riley's car and finding that speed. He actually was beamingly confident at the beginning of the race, saying that if he got the lead, he feels he has a strong enough car to lead to the end. With 55 laps down, that might be the confidence he needs.
And one thing we talk about whether Michael Self was going to work with Riley Herbst. Michael Self may think he's too much of a competitor and doesn't want to work together. Would rather see Brett Holmes behind him or Hailie Deegan or Tanner Gray. Maybe he wants that 18 car because he thinks it's so strong. Not in the mix here. But I think Riley Herbst has other ideas.
Well, if you follow the career of the 18, at least on the ARCA side, he did pick up his first win and only win back in 2017 at Pocono. Since then, 6 runner-up, 13 top 10s. He desperately wants a win. It could be driven to that today, but that line's falling back now.
Yeah, there's not very many cars up there. You see Thad Moffitt, the 46, David Gravel, who had damage from that big accident. He's back up in here racing with these guys. He's still on the lead lap. There's Jason White doing a nice job here on the lead lap, racing here just outside the top 10.
And there is the 51-time World of Outlaw Sprint Car winner, David Gravel, married just a week ago. Won the Knoxville Nationals, swept the World Finals in Charlotte. All this momentum, life is good right now if you're the driver of the 28.
See these guys running side by side back here. They're going to have a hard time keeping touch with this front group right here, these front 7 cars, led by Michael Self.
A 7-car breakaway freight train now. Entering turn 1, and then a pack of 4 machines trying to track them down.
And if I was each one of these guys and girls right here, I would stay in line here at least till inside of 10 laps to go. Then we can try to maybe make a plan. Maybe Hailie and her teammate Tanner Gray can get together. You see some debris on the racetrack. I would think that might bring a caution flag out. Looks like somebody had lost a tire. Part of the carcass is up against the outside wall there.
Outside of the racing groove, that's for officials to figure out.
Well, I mean, that's right against the wall. That's really not outside the racing groove.
I believe we saw it come off here in this shot.
You see some debris back in there.
And continue to watch. There it is.
Actually, it was sitting on the racetrack, and it looked like maybe Thad Moffitt ran over it, and that's what flipped it up towards the outside wall. Granted, these cars are not really running against the wall right now, but the potential is there if they get side by side to be running against the outside wall.
So 22 laps to go. Dollar in 5th, rebounding from That pit penalty, he has made his way back in that silver car.
Yeah, Sean Corr doing a nice job again in that 8 car for Empire Motorsports. You can see Riley Herbst now is tucked into the back of that 7-car train.
22 laps remain. The Lucas Oil 200 driven by General Tire. We'll drive you to the finish line when we come back from Daytona.
You put a lot of time and money into your home. As your equity grows, so do your options for paying off personal debt. When it comes to your personal loans, don't pay more than you have to. The average APR on personal loans is 15% or more, but that's not your only choice. With a home equity line from Figure, you can reduce your rate to as low as 4.99%. So no matter where you are in your finances, we are here to help. Apply in as little as 5 minutes and get funding in 5 days. Save time and money at Figure.com.
It's time to get a whole new perspective on Ram trucks. Because to us, there are no small jobs, no little tasks. And when it comes to innovation, there are no modest ideas. No wonder why more people are switching to Ram than ever before. Ram trucks, back-to-back Motor Trend Truck of the Year.
Now get an average $11,505 in total values on the 2020 Ram 1500 plus these additional incentives.
Come see into the delicious world of KFC's $20 fill-ups. Choose from original recipe, extra crispy, or tenders. Get it with all the fixins and feed your whole family for just $20. Now hurry up and choose. You're hungry. KFC, it's finger-licking good.
People take amazing photos of things every day, like grapefruits. And because we're so good at taking photos, we're also really good at doing taxes. People can be good at anything, even taxes. Intuit TurboTax.
Allow us to reintroduce ourselves. A new retro-inspired look for the Great American Lager. This Bud's for you.
I'm Jimmy Dean, and Mother Nature sure doesn't cut any corners when she paints a morning like that. And we know there's no shortcut to quality. And that's why we use nothing but the very best sausage that money can buy. Paint yourself a beautiful morning.
It is the ARCA Menard Series runner-up in the championship standings. Michael Self, that is in search of his second Lucas Oil 200 win. So he's got Brett Holmes behind him in the 23, Hailie Deegan in the 4. Not bad for a rookie, top 3 at the moment.
Doing a great job, and has her teammate Tanner Gray behind her. I think these guys may have, guys and girls, again, may have something to say about the finish of this race. Michael Self's in a great spot right now. He's got a good pusher in Brett Holmes, but he has a couple hungry rookies right behind them in Hailie Deegan and Tanner Gray.
Tanner Gray, also a rookie. Drew Dollar, you're right on board with him. Jamie Heaty is coming back with a vengeance following that pit penalty.
He sure is, and Tanner Gray is the topic of conversation on that team radio right now. They're saying Tanner keeps drifting up. He's leaving the door open for you. You stay on that double yellow line, and you have a real shot at this. Drew told the team he felt kind of silly for not taking those opportunities earlier, but they said, we're getting down to the nitty-gritty now. You've got to start thinking about it.
18 laps to go. It is almost go time.
And let's don't forget the job that Drew Dollar did avoiding that big accident. Getting down way down to the inside of the racetrack and downshifting, get that car woed up, doing a nice job. And here, Riley Herbst's going to make a move to the outside of Sean Corr.
It's go time for the 18, but he doesn't have a dance partner. Be smart to drop back in line.
And I'm sure at this point he said, okay, with 17 laps to go, I cannot win this race from 7th. I'm going to try to have to make something happen. He tried to make the move around Sean Corr, obviously had no help, and it didn't work.
Mentioned at the top of the show, driver of the 25, the only previous winner. If any of the other 32 can pull it off, including the 5 cars in line behind him, we'd have a first-time winner.
Yeah, I like the idea for these guys and girls in the front 4 or 5. Stay in line here. Get inside of 10 laps to go. Get towards the end here before you're going to make any moves.
Guarantee Michael Self's not getting off that double yellow line. He's going to protect all the real estate that he can right now and continue to try to lead this thing.
There's Tanner Gray. You saw him drift up a little bit off that double yellow line. If he gets up there too high and Drew Dollar gets a run, he's going to close that hole up and try to shove Tanner Gray to the outside. These guys are almost 12 seconds ahead of that 8th place car, Thad Moffitt. So that's what getting in line, running single file. That's what happens when you're able to do that. When you have cars running side by side behind you, they've lost almost 12 seconds.
That is about the length of the backstretch. They were entering turn 3 as Moffitt was coming off turn 4. Now, here comes the freight train. Past the start-finish line. Meanwhile, that pack still back between 3 and 4.
Here's a lap car. Now watch how fast these guys and girls are going to try to get to the inside. See Riley Herbst now on the outside of Sean Corr. Is he going to be able to use that lap car for a pick? No, he's going to give Sean Corr some room. They continue to run side by side, losing ground to the front 5. If Riley could just get enough momentum to get in front of Sean Corr and move down the racetrack, it will work. He just about has him cleared, just about, but not quite enough.
It was about 3/4 of a car length, but not quite a full one.
Look how much ground they lost, Dave. Look how much ground they lost in that one lap of trying to make that move.
Full second, almost a second and a tenth. Now they have their work cut out for them to regain that lead pack.
They may have fallen back far enough now. It may be hard to catch that top 5 back.
Now 14 laps to go.
And that is going to leave the 15 of Drew Dollar vulnerable. The back car of the draft sometimes is a little bit vulnerable to be pulled back to that group behind. Oh, we got a smoker. Looks like Tanner Gray's car is starting to smoke a little bit.
That's the 17 to Ford Performance car, the teammate of Hailie Deegan that runs right in front of him.
It's still at speed, but you can definitely see some smoke coming out from underneath that Ford.
And it's starting to get bad. Tanner Gray, the youngest NHRA champion in its sports history, won pro stock at the age of 18, has quickly advanced to the Truck Series next week. Says these laps will be invaluable today. Question is, does he have enough car to finish this one?
It's a long way to go with that car smoking like that. You see how Drew Dollar now has lost touch with the front 4. Again, the last car in line is vulnerable to be pulled back by those cars behind him.
That is the gap looking up. You can see that smoke now on the windshield of Drew Dollar.
Doesn't look like it's putting oil on the windshield of Drew Dollar.
That could be why he's backed off. Another lap car coming into the fray. Chaos in the corner.
See how fast they move back down to the bottom as they go by the lap car.
With more on the smoke situation with the 17 of Tanner Gray. Katie.
They're telling him to stay out, and it might be just tire rubs. We'll find out here in just a bit.
He just needs to watch his gauges because I don't think he's made any contact with anybody. I don't think it's tire rub, but he just needs to watch his gauges, make sure he keeps oil pressure, make sure the water temperature doesn't go up too high. Getting around that lap car has allowed these cars, when the 15 of Drew Dollar got back to Sean Corr in the 8 car, that's allowed them to close the gap. Now Sean Corr moves to the outside. Riley Herbst not able to do anything. Now he's going to switch over to the outside to try to make the move on the 8 of Sean Corr.
Can he make up enough momentum here to hold it off? No, he cannot. And that smoke starting to get even bigger out of the 17. Meanwhile, Michael Self will come down and lead his 49th lap. The most laps a driver has led at the Lucas Oil 200 since Bobby Gerhart led 55 laps in 2013.
I'm sure the ARCA Menards officials are keeping an eye on the 17 of Tanner Gray.
Now you're starting to see some oil.
Now there's some oil and some fluid on the windshield of Drew Dollar's car. Yeah, I'm not sure that car's going to make it to the end, much less if they're going to leave him on the racetrack.
If you're in the seat of the 15, you got to be paying attention to that.
Yeah, we're hearing that they're going to black flag the 17 of Tanner Gray for excessive smoke. I think they have to. We saw from that onboard on the 15 of Drew Dollar that was getting on his windshield. If it was smoking and wasn't getting on his windshield, that would probably be okay, but I think it's going to put a premature end to the race for Tanner Gray. But what a great job he did.
Down under the yellow line, the 17 onto pit road. Hailie Deegan loses a teammate. Tanner Gray loses the opportunity to win.
Yeah, Tanner Gray knows that his race is essentially over. I mean, they're gonna look at it, maybe open the hood. You see him shut the engine off. He's done. As you mentioned, Hailie Deegan loses a teammate, but the 15 of Drew Dollar now is moving up to the rear bumper of the 4 of Hailie Deegan.
Drew Dollar going full-time with Venturini as the yellow flag comes out. Debris potentially from the 17.
Well, there was definitely some debris on the backstretch.
Or that debris.
We saw that earlier. And again, I think the ARCA officials had to bring this caution up, get that debris cleaned up. We saw how much fluid. You see it on the inside of the hood on the 17 of Tanner Gray. There was so much fluid going on Drew Dollar's windshield. I think that's what caused the ARCA Menards officials to say, hey, we've got to put this caution up, make sure the racetrack's clean.
A 200-mile race, and for Tanner Gray, it comes to a close inside of 25 miles to go, running in the top 4. Reason we're under yellow, though, big tire coming apart on the car, and there is shrapnel all over the backstretch.
Yeah, there's debris all over the racetrack right there.
Not sure whose car that was, but that's David Gravel.
Yeah,
Everything looks good on this side, but we're hearing on the other side, yeah, the door is gone on that car.
There was a big chunk of something on the racetrack, and I think that's what it was, the door off that 28 of David Gravel that they ran over, and that splintered that.
But if I know David Gravel, that doesn't matter to him. He's a sprint car racer. Things fall off those cars all the time. He says, let me go on. Will he? Find out with us when we come back and wrap up Daytona.
Lucas Complete Engine Treatment is a multifunctional cleaner plus lubricant from the labs at Lucas Oil Products. It's designed for use in both engine oil and fuel systems. It also cleans and lubricates the entire gas or diesel fuel system, from the tank to injectors. It contains special Lucas additives that cause the fuel to burn thoroughly and helps increase your miles per gallon. Expect longer engine life, longer oil life, cleaner exhaust, and less fuel consumption. Lucas Oil Complete Engine Treatment. It works.
When it's time for a new water heater in your home, trust the water heater experts at Richmond. Richmond is an industry-leading manufacturer of water heaters that are reliable and efficient. Choose from high-quality natural gas and LP models, electric and electric hybrid heat pump water heaters, or whole house tankless models that give you a continuous supply of hot water. You'll find a great selection of Richmond water heaters to meet your needs at Menards.
Save big money at Menards.
My son needs this drug. I hope it doesn't cost too much. I hope my insurance pays for it. Can you tell me how much this will be?
67.
Sorry.
Wait, have you heard about GoodRx? GoodRx finds free coupons to help you save up to 80% on your prescriptions.
How? I had no idea.
GoodRx. Stop paying too much for your prescriptions.
Cover it up. That's what I did when I started losing my hair. Then I realized I could actually do something. Now I use Keeps, the easiest way to keep my hair. And it only costs $1 a day, which means no more covering up. Get started at Keeps.com.
Mayweather won't stand toe-to-toe. Toe-to-toe for Floyd means, oh, take this and you can't hit me. When you see a fight, you want to see somebody fall. Ooh, that ding-ding is special, all right?
Free.
That's right. TurboTax Free is free. Free.
We've toiled and triumphed.
We choose to go to the moon.
Pushed mankind to new worlds. We fought for justice and freed a continent.
Tear down this wall.
But our greatest achievement is in your hands. America is watching.
The long winter break is over, and finally the smell of nitromethane is in the air here in Southern California. The 2020 NHRA Mellow Yellow Drag Racing Series gets back underway this weekend in Pomona. Final qualifying for the 60th annual NHRA Winter Nationals is up next, live on FS1. The sunset at Daytona International Speedway. Absolutely breathtaking here, as we've got a breathtaking finish for you coming your way today from the Lucas Oil 200, driven by General Tire. It's also been driven by a fair share of yellow flags. The first one coming out on lap number 1. As Andy Seiss gets turned to the infield, almost gets it collected back up, but when you're sliding on that grass and you end up back on the track, nowhere to go. A couple of cars get caught up in the mix as well. And it seems to kind of be the norm today.
Yeah, here's the big one. 61 of J.J. Pack moves to the inside. inside, makes contact with Connor Hall in the 22, takes out at least 10 cars. There's Hailie Deegan making contact with Jacob Hefner. A lot of our contenders, including David Gravel, involved in this incident. David Gravel has rebounded, though. There's a tough one right there, a tough hit.
Chuck Hires into the backstretch fence. Just got a little out of shape. Hailie Deegan had nowhere to go, and there is some major damage that knocked the wind out of him. Fortunately, no worse for the wearer, Chuck Hires.
Our most recent caution, there was a door on the racetrack. It comes off of David Gravel's car. You see it laying on the racetrack, then someone's going to come along and run over that. Here it is right here. But a lot of debris on the racetrack. That's what brought out this caution flag. No damage other than the door coming off David Gravel's car. That was from that earlier incident we talked about.
Of course, David Gravel coming out of the World of Outlaws, open wheel sprint cars. He's kind of used to that wind blowing around inside the cockpit. David Gravel is going to try to keep out there.
Yeah, we're hearing that they're going to bring him to pit road. They may need to put something back over that opening. The door bars right now are exposed on that 28 of David Gravel.
We are 73 laps down, 7 to go, and there's a big gaping hole in the side of that 28 machine.
Yeah, aerodynamics are so important here at this racetrack. That gap there would probably blow the quarter panel off this car if they left it on the racetrack. So I think the ARCA Menards officials are talking about bringing him to pit road to have them look at it. Here he comes right now.
Tough break for a guy doing a great job in his ARCA Menard Series debut, doing so at Daytona. Scored 9th as he makes his way to pit road. Question is what can they do with that?
Yeah, they're putting a side window in it. They may not have to put a door in it, but you have to have a side window at these type of racetracks. So that's what they're trying to do, is somehow get a side window into that car. As you see Tanner, Katie with Tanner Gray looks like he's pulled behind the wall.
Yeah, you can see that hood popped up. The word that would be described around the team right now is devastated. They thought or maybe hoped that smoke was tire rub, but it was actually the radiator that got pushed back into the steering box, and there was a hole in the oil cooler. They are done. They did think they could get that fixed, but it is official. They are done. A very disappointing day for the number 17 team.
And the race is really going to start to get going now with 6 laps to go for the number 15. He's been on the radio talking to his crew chief. That's Drew Dollar, talking to Shannon Rush, telling him, I don't have a whole bunch of gear. He said, I'm accelerating at 4,700 to 5,000 RPM when we go back to the green, but they're taking off a lot faster than me. The team came back to him and they said, when we go back, you're going to be right on the bumper of the number 23 machine with Brett Holmes behind the wheel. He said, you get right up on that bumper. This is why we do this.
When they get back to the start-finish line, just 5 laps to go.
I'm really curious to see which line Michael Self will pick. Does he want Hailie Deegan behind him, or does he want his teammate Drew Dollar behind him? I think if I'm Michael Self, I might want to pick the outside line, because we know Drew Dollar's going to have to line up on the outside. I might pick that outside line so I know I have a teammate with me.
Well, it's setting itself up for a fantastic finish. That much we know. Michael Self, 2018. He's trying to come back and go back-to-back. He got caught up in an incident very, very early, lap number 2 last year. It cost him. But he was able to come back from that, still compete for the championship.
You see the ARCA officials are holding the 28 of David Gravel till they get that hole patched. He has now lost a lap, so more than likely taking him out of contention for the win as we get the signal for 1 lap to go before we go back to racing. We will restart with 4 laps to go.
Meanwhile, Hailie Deegan, a rookie run. First time ever here at Daytona, continues to impress in 3rd, Katie.
Absolutely does. It's radio chatter right now under this yellow. Hailie Deegan is being told to push like crazy on this restart and stay glued to the bumper. We'll see if she can get the job done here with 5 laps to go.
See, Michael Self decided to pick Hailie Deegan as his pusher instead of his teammate, Drew Dollar.
Well, Hailie definitely knows about winning in dramatic fashion. The first woman to win ever in the ARCA Menards West Series. Did so a couple of years ago. Came back with 2 more wins last year. All of those coming on tight little bull rings. All of those coming with a little rubbing, a little shoving. There's her dad coming on the last lap. So I don't think you're going to be able to push and shove your way to a win at Daytona.
Oh yeah.
Well,
I would say there's definitely going to be some pushing and shoving going on here.
It's got to be a nervous father right now, for sure. But he ain't showing any signs of that. A true adrenaline junkie's passed that gene on into the veins of his daughter.
So important here to get up through the gears for these drivers on this restart.
Gravel going to try to come back out and see what he can do. Used to be able to see a lot out that right side, but not anymore. He'll have to get up to speed here as quickly as he can, because he is a full half lap behind the pack. Still, though, it's about experience for David Gravel. 4 to go, coming to the line. Can Michael Self win his second Lucas Oil 200? Or can Brett Holmes get his first ever ARCA Menard Series win? How about the rookie, Hailie Deegan? Drew Dollar continues to impress, running in 4th. And we know that there's going to be a pack of them coming, not only to the start-finish line now, but in 10 miles. It'll be interesting to see who's out in front. It's a sprint to the finish.
Good start by Michael Self. Hailie Deegan does a nice job. Now Drew Dollar jumps down to the inside behind Hailie Deegan. It leaves Brett Holmes on the outside there. Riley Herbst will try to get up there and help him.
Will Holmes stay up? Will that help come from Herbst, or will he take the 23 to the inside? Looks like he's got a run now back on Drew Dollar.
We saw Holmes side draft on the 15 of Drew Dollar. He has a little help now with Riley Herbst. A lot of experience with that 18 car, Riley Herbst. But here comes Drew Dollar back on the inside.
Sean Core in the 8, Thad Moffitt, Richard Petty's grandson in the 46. He started 33rd. He's a part of this race.
How about Jason White there? That 12 car doing a nice job hanging in here.
Jason White out of Canada was part of the Canadian national ski team. He's been 124 mile an hour on skis.
Well, he's 180 miles an hour right now on 4 tires.
3 laps to go. Self continues to control. Behind him, pure pandemonium. What will, who will, and when will they do it?
I think you're going to have to shove Michael Self off that double yellow line. There's no reason for him to leave that double yellow line here. Hailie Deegan doing a great job lined up as these 3 cars try to pull away.
As far as female finishes in the ARCA Menard Series, a best second. It's been done 4 times. Hailie Deegan trying to make history in her first trip ever to DIS.
Shauna Robinson did it right here at Daytona, driving for James Finch.
Two laps to go at Daytona. 5 miles for Michael Self to win a second time.
Could be a 4-car breakaway. You see these cars running side by side. Now they're trying to get lined up. You see Brett Holmes, that white and blue car, hung on the outside.
Inside the car of each one of the top 5, 6, 7, 8. A driver that desperately wants to make history. Well, Daytona, you got to respect this place.
That second pack really caught up quickly. Jason White, when he gets to the back of Thad Moffitt, might have a little bit of momentum here.
Brian Deegan hoping for the best as they make their way off turn 4 into the tri-oval. The white flag is in hand. And it is an all-out dash to the finish line. Next flag that comes out will determine the winner of the Lucas Oil 200 driven by General Tire.
Hailie needs a little bit help from Drew Dollar, that 15 car, maybe to make a move on Michael Self.
Down to 3,600 foot backstretch. Cars remaining nose to tail. A breakaway pack of 6, the final 2 corners.
I'm not sure Drew's close enough to Hailie to really give her much help to try to do something with Michael Self.
Here comes Michael Self. Will anybody compete with him? No. Michael Self wins for the 8th time. He has captured his second Daytona 200. A repeat performance of Kevin Reed and this man from 2018. That Venturini Motorsports team really flexing their muscles once again. Their 4th win as a team, 3rd straight. They've won 7 of the last 9 races, Phil, dating back to the middle of last year, rather. And of course, that man took Christian Eckes to the championship.
Leads 60 of our 80 laps here. What an outstanding run by Michael Self. Started from the pole, was up front this entire race. You see Kevin Reed, a pretty happy crew chief right there.
He tuned the car that allowed Michael Self to grab the pole position, his first time ever doing that. For Michael, his second career win from the pole. And the first track he's won at more than one time, and it's Daytona.
That's a good one to do it at.
Yes, it is. Let's go down to Jamie.
And the emotion has finally hit Kevin Reed as you climb down from the pit cart. It's the celebration all around. You just won at Daytona. What was the biggest challenge this team overcame today?
I don't know. It seemed pretty easy today. I've won 4 of these things down here, and it's been, everyone gets sweeter and sweeter. But, I mean, you can't beat a Toyota. Jack Irving, David Wilson, everybody at Toyota give us everything we need to work with. Billy Venturini and Bill Venturini are the greatest owners in the garage. We put them General tires on there tonight, and they run all 80 laps, and we're going to victory lane.
Congratulations, Katie.
We're following Deegan, the whole family here right now. They just ran off to go make sure that they could see Haley as she drove by. We have her mom, Marissa, and dad, Brian Deegan. My goodness, you know, you guys were supposed to go into the stands to watch this race, but they stayed in the pit box. Why? What does this really mean to you and the family as a whole?
I just felt like we needed to be with the crew and see what calls were being made, and just because we had to be in the mix, and I'm glad we did, because there's a lot of calls that were going down. And she was on the track talking on the radio, and it all just went so good. She said so many close calls, but the team laid it down. The team did such a good job. Man, I'm so nervous.
You're nervous as mom, Marissa. How would you describe your emotions right now?
I'm so excited for her. She did amazing.
A Daytona rookie, she sure performed like a veteran, but it was Michael Self able to pick up his second Lucas Oil 200 win. He's climbing out of the car, celebrating, and we will talk to him, flexing his muscles today when we come back.
More than a century ago, General Tire was born, right here in America. Since then, we've made a name for ourselves by making tires you can depend on. Tires built to handle any road this country can throw at them, and relied on by every kind of driver. So you know that no matter where life takes you, with General Tire, anywhere is possible.
Lucas Complete Engine Treatment is designed for use in both your fuel tank and engine oils. Once added to the fuel, it cleans the entire system from your tank all the way to the injectors, allowing for your fuel to burn more efficiently. The same special Lucas additives go to work in your engine oil, thoroughly cleaning all internal components. Adding it to your engine will also lengthen your oil life. As it cleans, your fuel economy improves and your oil lasts longer too. Lucas Complete Engine Treatment. It works.
With the Ram 1500 EcoDiesel, you get best-in-class torque and towing, which gives you all the grit without sacrificing efficiency. Load up on technology without limits, and take on every job without compromise. Ram 1500, the most awarded light-duty pickup in America.
Now get an average $11,505 in total values on the 2020 Ram 1500 EcoDiesel, plus these additional incentives.
This whole quarter-pounder operation revolves and relies on one hot and deliciously juicy hunk of quality beef. The hottest, juiciest quarter-pounder yet, made with 100% fresh beef. It's perfect. Made perfect. Ba-da-ba-ba-ba.
Hi. Can you tell me how to get to I-70, please? Oh, okay. Are you... yes. Thank you.
Switch to Progressive and you can save hundreds. You know, like the sign says.
I've got new Mountain Dew Zero Sugar with the same refreshing taste as the original, but without any of the sugar. Here's Mountain Dew Zero.
I am thirsty.
There is the thrill of victory, and then there's the thrill of victory of winning at Daytona. Michael Self grabs the checker flag for the second time in his career. And a very happy crew chief, Kevin Reed, the first there to congratulate him. The Lucas Oil results, how about this stat? Every driver in the top 6 matched Michael Self or set a career-best ARCA finish, including that great run by Hailie Deegan.
Some really great stories here. Drew Dollar with a terrific run, finishing third. Sean Core with his best career finish. Always good here at Daytona. Thad Moffitt, Richard Petty's grandson, gets a top 5 at Daytona.
Runners 13 down through 24. And that's where Chuck Hires at 19th, begins the freight train of cars that had problems today. A fair number of yellows, but when it's all said and done, Michael Self leads 60 of the 80 laps. Perhaps the biggest threat to him winning is Hailie Deegan, the second-place finisher, now standing by with Katie.
My goodness, we talk about the victory celebration that was happening in our pit box. I think right now you're celebrating like that was a victory as well.
Yeah, for sure, that was a victory for me. Coming to this race, first goal, finish. Second goal was top 3 to top 5. I would have been ecstatic. And come out here, finish second, runner-up. Nothing could have been better for me. Obviously, every driver wants to win, but this was a victory for me.
We talked at the beginning of the race that you were slightly nervous. You had to really get into that mindset. How well do you think you actually did?
I mean, man, first time racing at Daytona, how could you not be nervous? I mean, everything, this kind of the race, if there's any race you want to do it, it's Daytona, and this was my goal. Okay, this track is one, I really want to get a good finish, and so we did that. Definitely completed our goals for this race. We have our next goals kind of work off. I think we set the bar a little too high for the rest of the season, so I'm going to be expecting a lot out of the rest of the races.
You know, the background of your phone earlier, we talked, there is a quote on there that motivates you day in and day out. You are setting what you're doing now for the end of the season. How do you feel that time and time again?
I mean, it's a lot of work. There's a lot of work that goes into our racing, whether it's the crew guys in the shop hustling every single day, me going to sim, training, watching footage, so much stuff that goes into just this 2-hour race. And people understand how much goes into it and how much mentally goes into it. So it's been a work in progress, definitely. Everything that I've been doing the past couple months off season's paid off.
Bounty Rookie of the Year, she is going for it. Jamie?
And the celebration can now begin in victory lane as Michael Self climbs out. The entire Venturini team is here to give him that Gatorade shower for the second time in his career. He gets to hug his crew chief, Kevin Reed, in celebration. You're a 2-time Daytona winner now, Michael. I know you want to get your family in here. Certainly an emotional moment when you think about ending the season the way you did last year, but coming back now as the first winner of the year, how sweet is this redemption?
This is amazing. Oh man, to start this year off like this, technically to go back-to-back with Kevin Reed here at Daytona, you know, this is unbelievable. Just to come and feel like this is our year of redemption, and you know, to be back with Sinclair and Venturini here, it feels so good to start the year off like this, and it's just such a great day overall. I just can't give enough credit to all these guys right here. This guy right here, Billy, Big Bill, Kevin, what an amazing car. I mean, to have our cars finish 1 and 3, this is just unbelievable.
We talked earlier this weekend about refocusing yourself, getting your mind right, ready for the new challenge. How significant was that when you were behind the wheel today?
You know, it's big. This place is a little bit different than everywhere else we go. You know, there's a lot that's out of your control at this place, but to come out, and I think to have the car that we did where we could lead as many laps and where we could hold that lead out front and hold other cars off, you know, it just gives you so much confidence. And what I knew that these guys could already do, but it just makes you that much more excited for Phoenix and the next race that's coming ahead and to have a little bit of momentum.
I know the celebration's going to go. One more question. Big kiss right there from Big Bill. Certainly something to celebrate here tonight. Michael, you talked about having not only a good car, top speed-wise, but also having a stable car. With the sun setting, the track changing, all the caution period, how important was that to the result?
Well, that's huge, and I tell a lot of the younger guys that come here, frankly, sometimes that's more important than speed here. Especially when we got back, you know, 7th, 8th place. We were back a little bit in the draft. A couple times, there's a lot of bump drafting going on, and you got to be able to hang on in that situation. So having a car that's stable, you know, that you can handle whether you're out front or in the draft, that's what ends you here in Victory Lane in this car. A 2 for 2 in this car here at Daytona, so that's pretty cool. It's a good car.
I'm not going to interrupt any more celebration. Congratulations on winning at Daytona.
Well, no doubt some redemption there, some validation as well. How about Michael Self now with his 8th win in his 40th start? He wins 20% of the races.
That's pretty good.
That is very, very good. And it's going to be a big-time celebration before he heads home already tomorrow, but he's going to be doing so with a very unique trophy. How about the validation for Hailie Deegan? There were questions that were answered with exclamation points.
Yeah, I think Hailie Deegan's going to go to Victory Lane this year. She proved it in the West Series that she really good on the short tracks. We're going to have some great short tracks. Phoenix might be at our next race here. She might not be where Haley Deegan gets that first win.
She's got 19 more opportunities. We mentioned 20 races at 20 different tracks. No repeats on there. Got a couple of road courses like the ARCA guys used to go to. We're heading back to those. Got 2 more dirt tracks in Springfield and DuQuoin. Bottom line, you got to have a little versatility if you want to run for the championship in this series.
Yeah, and I think the championship for the ARCA Menard Series is going to run through that 25 of Michael Self. He's placed a stamp on it that to win this championship, you're going to have to beat him.
Let's go down for our third place finisher standing by with Katie.
One person that is not celebrating right now is Drew Dollar, driver of the number 15. You said you were disappointed. Why?
Yeah, just disappointed. Felt like should have a shot to win it. You know, these guys put a ton of work in on this Toyota Camry, and it was super fast. We were definitely better than third place car. We're first or second there for sure. And these guys, they put a lot of effort into it, and just wish we could have brought home a win there.
You're talking about these guys who put in this effort. Venturini Motorsports, this is one that you came on board with here as you're really kicking off a full season as a rookie here, if you will. What have they done to help you out?
Yeah, a ton of things. You know, obviously they're bringing fast cars every week, just sitting down with me, watching film, coaching me through everything. Got a good spotter, tell me, you know, what I need to do out there. You know, they're just really great to have around. And also Toyota, they're doing a ton for us, you know, between the gym and taking us grocery shopping and everything, teaching us everything.
I did see a photo on social media of you guys playing ball. That was super cool this week alone. So congratulations. I know you're disappointed with the third, but a lot of people in their first debut here at Daytona International Speedway would be pretty excited about it. Dave?
How about the youngster, 19 years of age, Haley Deegan, 18.
Yeah, Katie's right. He has nothing to be ashamed of. He did an outstanding job in finishing third.
When he wakes up tomorrow, he'll definitely realize that, getting a little perspective. And speaking of tomorrow's menu, Fox, noon Eastern time. That's when you turn it on. If you want to catch Daytona 500 qualifying, and then switch over to FS1 at 2 p.m. Eastern for that Busch Clash. We had Ryan Blaney talking about testing and practicing those cars today. That's going to be a fun little race.
Yeah, and it's always wild, too, and it's so neat to have Busch back and calling it the Busch Clash again.
Well, we started with the sun up, but how about that photo of the moon, and how about the celebration that Michael Self and his team will have tonight? Questions about whether he'd even come back following the disappointment. I guarantee a second consecutive Daytona 200 win. That gets his juices flowing again.
Yeah, and I think our top 3 finishers are going to be our top 3 contenders for this championship. Michael Self, Haley Deegan, and Drew Dollar all running full time here, and they will be contenders for this championship.
The NHRA from the Winter Nationals comes your way next. As an eventful day here at Daytona International Speedway has come to a close. It is the Lucas Oil 200. It was driven by General Tire, and following many, many yellows, there was some domination. A rookie tried, Haley Deegan, but she couldn't catch the main man, car number 25, and Michael Self. He is now a 2-time winner of the Daytona 200. That happy man is the one who took him there. For our crew, have a good night.